Hello and welcome back. We are wrapping up Becoming Naomi Leon. I've been saying that for a while, but that's because we do have like only 4 chapters left to go. So we are wrapping up. And, you know, chapter 19, A Cry of Hounds, whatever interpretive dance movement Stacy's back there doing is, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm just having lighting issues. I can't see, but I used to have a friend. You see my painting there?
Yeah.
Felt that was haunted. He felt that.
Well, it does kind of look haunted.
That's what?
It looks haunted. With the lighting, the way the lighting.
Come out at night. He's not. His name's William. William's fantastic.
Okay.
William and I have been together like for 22 years. I remember I bought him right before I moved to New York. More information you do not need to know.
Well, William is, I'm sure, just desperate to find out what's happening in this book. And I don't know if the microphone is picking up how my apartment is creaking like a scary movie, but hey, it's windy out. Chapter 19, A Cry of Hounds. On Christmas morning, I always forget it's Christmas in this book because of so many other things that's going on. I wonder if the characters to some extent do too. Like, oh my God, it's Christmas, I forgot. On Christmas morning, Owen and I stood in the yard and looked up. I had to pinch myself to make sure that I was not dreaming. A jungle of painted beasts floated beneath the jacaranda tree, the leaves and purple flowers like a canopy above them. Tied to the branches with transparent fishing line, the carved wooden animals appeared suspended when a warm breeze tickled the dragons, reptiles, birds, and lions. They twirled and swayed. Owen and I lay down on the ground and watched them. A few minutes later, Santiago came out from behind the trailer where he had been waiting. He lay down next to us and we watched the spectacle to the music of Owen's raspy laughter. Later in the afternoon, I sat outside carving with Santiago. He was an expert on wood and had brought some of the special copal branches from the trees in the mountains. I loved watching him carve. This must be such a moment for her. She's been carving since forever. She was doing it with soap. She knew nothing about her father. Now she's found out that he carves too, and now she gets to sit next to him and carve. Must be great.
It's also the first, like, a couple times we've heard her again, going back to when she saw the picture of her dad, where she started to like have someone that she can kind of see where she came from. She was always at the beginning. It was always about the Oklahoma side of grandma. And she didn't look like that. She didn't have grandma's positivity. I'm not saying the dad, I don't know what the dad's personality is like yet, but it's like she's a lot of like, oh, I see myself in somebody else. And like, it's a big, like that, like watching a car.
Yeah.
But it smells good too, the soap.
The soap. Yeah. And the wood.
And yeah, I love it. Especially if it's like a cedar. I don't know if they have cedar in Mexico.
It's a copal branch. I don't know what that is.
That probably smells good. I'm reading.
Okay. He held up a curved branch. Each piece has a personality. Sometimes you can look at the wood and see exactly what it might be. The promise reveals itself early. Other times you must let your imagination dictate what you will find. How do you see your soap today? It's a dog, right? I nodded. I had been working on it for several days. This end will be the tail, here. And here, I pointed to the bottom corner, will be one of its legs, running. Santiago nodded. Almost done. I pulled my knife across the soap, but dug a little too deep, and a large piece crumbled to the ground. With one slip of the knife, I had accidentally carved off the running leg. Now she's made a 3-legged dog. I gasped. No, do not be sad, said Santiago. there is still some magic left inside. Let us say that the missing leg is symbolico of a tragedy or something the dog has lost, or that its destiny was to be a dog with 3 legs. He picked up my carving and with a few strokes of the knife, smoothed the ragged piece into a perfect 3-legged dog. You must carve so that what is inside can become what it is meant to be. When you are finished, the magic will show itself for what it really is. Santiago considered an odd-shaped piece of wood. When the promise does not reveal itself early, your imagination must dictate your intentions. Got to do it. I have to do it. Imagination. Then the wood or the soap, it will become what you least expect. Sometimes the wood fools me. I think I'm carving a parrot, and when I'm finished, it has a fishtail. Or I begin a tiger, and in the end, it has the body of a dancer. With the small machete, he scraped at the layers of bark that had built up over time, exposing the innards of what used to be a tree branch and revealing the unprotected heart meat. He traded the machete for a knife and chafed at the wood with quick strokes. Soon he handed me a rough figure. I held it up in the air. I could see that it was a lion's body with a human's head. Maybe that of a girl? Let's just think about that for a second. A lion's body with a human's head, maybe that of a girl. Oh, Stacy's gonna draw? I love when Stacy draws. So, got a nice lion. And then a girl's head. Let's see. Beautiful. And she's doing it on the fly, so fantastico. Que bella.
Masterpiece. But guess what? Piece. I before E,
Yes.
except after C. Masterpiece. Is signing it. All right, MoMA. Better be calling.
There you go. It's going in my museum for sure.
On. That is, oh my God.
Fantastico. That's what Santiago would say.
That is glorious. Sorry, Eve. Mine is so much better.
I love it.
All right, thanks.
It's funny because I always picture the lion rearing up on its hind legs with the head of a.
Come on. I can't do hind legs. I barely can have that thing laying down.
Yeah, I know. That's my imagination.
No, I agree. I can see that.
As I turned it around admiring it, Graham came out of the house and slowly sat down in one of the chairs. She stared at her folded hands and cleared her throat. I just checked in with Mrs. Maloney. The mediator, a young woman, showed up at Avocado Acres yesterday to interview her. Imagine showing up on Christmas Eve. The woman asked Mrs. Maloney where we were because she needs to talk to all of us by Friday, January 3rd. Mrs. Maloney told her we'd return from our family vacation in time for the interview, which is what I had told her to say if anybody asked. That's in 9 days, and what with 4 or 5 days driving ahead of us? I'm sorry, Naomi, but Bernardo said we should leave the day after tomorrow. I took a deep breath and looked around the yard. Can't we just stay here? I asked, my hands suddenly quivering. You like it here. You said so yourself. I heard Owen's and Ruben's giggles coming from the garden. Owen loves it, and we could go to school here. We're learning Spanish real good. Or Or we could go to Puerto Escondido and live in the little house and help sell the carvings. I could learn to paint them like Aunt Teresa. And Santiago pulled me from my chair to his side on a small wooden bench. He put his arm around me. Naomi, I would love for you to come to my house. But right now your life is in California. I have written the letter for the judge. I told the truth about your mother and that my wishes are for you and Owen to live with Maria. I told that I want to be part of your life and see you, maybe in the summer for vacations, if that's all right with you and Owen, more if it is possible. My lips trembled. I stared at the ground. I did not fight for you when you were little, said Santiago. It is something for which I am sorry. I should not have believed your mother when she said I would never be able to see you. If I had been stronger, maybe things could have been different. But maybe they would not have been so different. How will we ever know? I looked at him. Why can't you come with us? For that to happen, he said, I would have to prepare. Much would need to be done. Sell my house, my boat. Much of my money comes from carvings, which are only sold in Oaxaca. My work, it is here. But what if the judge? Naomi, said Graham, we are not going to consider the worst that could happen. Thinking that way does not help self-prophecies. Oh, well, now she's back on her self-prophecies thing. A second ago, she was down in the dumps, swearing everything was going to go all wrong. Anyway, since we found Santiago, Graham was wearing her fierceness again, at least on the outside. I guess I better tell Owen, said Graham. I will go with you, said Santiago, and they headed toward the garden. Alone beneath the jacaranda, I stared at the three-legged dog and the lion girl in my lap. We rode home to Lemon Tree silently. The truck and baby beluga seemed to drag along the highway. We traveled with less than we had brought, choosing to leave many things for Flora, Pedro, Graciela, and Ruben. So why did we seem to plod along? Did the weight of our memories slow us down? For hundreds of kilometers, I held the lion girl and thought about all that I wanted to tell Blanca, especially about my father. On our last day on Oaxaca, Owen and I had gone everywhere with Santiago, to visit Aunt Teresa, to El Zocalo, El Mercado for pineapple coconut ice cream, and to admire the statue of Soledad in La Basilica. I would never forget that day. The statue with the long robe, a crown of gold, the sparkling stained glass windows, our footsteps echoing on the floor, holding Santiago's hand and listening to his adoration. Our Lady of Solitude is loved by sailors and fishermen, he said. She protects us at sea when our boats are rocking in a storm, when it is foggy and we cannot see the way, when we need to get home and our motor fails us. Then we ask for her assistance. She is part of Oaxaca, and since you have her name and have been here to see the wonder of this city, Oaxaca is part of you. I always like his little explanation about the sailors and how she protects them, what she protects them from. Because if you think about the whole story, Naomi has been kind of at sea through this most of the story, kind of just lost and needing some direction, and she can't see the way kind of thing. And so Our Lady of Solitude also helps her to find her way. The morning we left, Santiago came early to help Bernardo load the last of the luggage. He cut down all the animals hanging from the jacaranda and gave them to Owen and me. It was a long goodbye, what with Flora running back and forth to the kitchen with one more bundle of tamales, and Pedro rechecking the tires on the truck and the trailer, and Graciela and Benny chasing Owen, Ruben, and Lulu around the yard. It was a kind of goodbye where everyone hugged and kissed every single person, then stood around talking and looking at each other, then all of a sudden started hugging and kissing everyone again, crying a little each time. When we were finally ready to climb into the truck, Santiago hugged me and said, "Be brave, Naomi Leon." I nodded. But when he took me in his arms one more time and rocked me back and forth, I didn't pretend to be brave. "Do not be sad," he whispered. "We have found each other. I will write, you will write. We have much for which to be thankful. Everything will be the way it was meant to be. You will see. I promise. I promise. Now you must promise." "I promise." The truck jolted as Bernardo downshifted on the highway. Oaxaca had long disappeared from our view. I opened my notebook to make a list of all that I hoped to remember, but I closed it. My pen seemed too heavy to lift.
Might be having someone come to my door. My bell just rang.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Keep talking. I don't know. I don't know if he's coming up or not.
So that was a cry of hounds. We had some hounds. We had some crying. So there was all of that together. The next chapter is 20, a crash of hippopotami.
So it's not hippopotamuses. I know every year the kids are always have a kid that'll Google it. Hippopotami. Like cactus cacti.
Crash of hippopotami. And he told her to be brave, Naomi Leon. Roll credits. Okay. So that was chapter 19. Get ready for chapter 20 and 21. It's only 2 chapters. Okay. So see you later.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.